we're going to have Anthony Holloway. Anthony is a lover of numbers and people. Currently, he leads talent acquisition at Woebot. His team is building a small, for now, group of thoughtful and committed individuals to redefine how therapy, shout out to therapy and mental health, and evidence-based mental health care is delivered to help millions, to make millions of people happier. He's also the founder and chief editor of Tech Dirty With Me, a media blog that seeks to inspire millennials to take risks and overcome imposter syndrome. In his spare time, he likes to cook amazing food, listen to 90s hip hop, and explore nature. Please help me welcome Anthony.
This is a little bit about what we're going to cover. So I'm going to talk about my journey, why I want to help you, what are OKRs, why do they matter, the 3 most important questions that you need in order to kind of discover your life's mission, how to use OKRs, examples in my personal life, because I feel like you lead by example, you learn by example, and then some Q&A and some final thoughts. But as I start, I want to start with this. You are enough. And I'm starting with this because we're talking about goal setting and having goals and ambitions, and that's great, but just realize, like, all of us right here, right now, like, you are enough, we are enough. So just be present, and buckle your seatbelts rather, because we're going to get started. So why do I do the work that I do? Well, it starts with my mom. She's been my biggest cheerleader. She's always had my back. And also, I'm the eldest of 3. So I want to make my brother and sister proud. My brother's the baby, so my sister and I gang up on him. He's a pain in my ass, but he's still my brother, and I love him, and I want to make a good example of him. So this is, like, that's something that I value, family, which is why I'm kind of doing the work that I do. And in the past 3 years, I've had 3 career transitions. I worked at Dev Boot Camp. I moved from New Jersey to California to work for a boot camp. I got to work with amazing people. I got to go to amazing places. And then about 9 months in, they're like, we're shutting the company down. And I'm like, word? Like, damn, like, I moved across the country for this. But it worked out. I moved to another company, Outco, where they have a 5-week program where they teach engineers how to master the technical interview. Again, got to work with some amazing people, did some amazing work. And then a couple of months in, they're like, nah, this ain't really working out, bro. And then I love this quote, which is, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Mike Tyson said that. And I've been punched in the mouth at least 3 times in the past 3 years. So that's why I wanted to share with you this framework. After that, I left. I went to Woebot. And I got that job in only 21 days. And I was able to do that with the goal-setting framework that I'm about to teach you right now. And it helped me cultivate focus. It's helped me redefine myself. And it's flexible enough that, like, I can think about long-term, but also think about, like, what do I have to do today, this week? So for the next 10 minutes, I work for you. So take notes, ask questions after, bug me and bother me after the talk. But what are OKRs and why do they matter? Well, in the early 70s, Andy Grove, he worked at Intel, he came up with this. Another man named John Doerr worked under him. And then John Doerr took it to Google when they were still in their garage. And Google was like, we're engineers, we learned about tech, but you're the goal-setting expert, so we're listening to you. And then the rest is history. Google exploded, and then since then, a bunch of other companies have used OKRs too. So I'm not saying this because I made up OKRs. Like, companies have used this to grow and have explosive success. But it starts with your values, which is why I started with my value of family. What are the areas in your life that you really, really value? Family, health, wealth. Define those. You already have them defined, but write them down. And then OKRs help you start to define those things even more. So objective says, where do I want to go? It's like a point on a map. So it's literally you setting your sights, looking out. Where do I want to go? And then key results says, how do I know if I'm getting there? So if objective is a point on a map, your key results are like your turn-by-turn navigation. And then your initiatives or your priorities are like, okay, what do I need to do this week, right? What will I say yes to? What will I say no to, right? But it kind of looks like this. So your ultimate goal or your values, your mission. Then you say, okay, what points on the map, what objectives can I hit? what key results will tell me I'm getting closer, and then what initiatives or priorities will help me get there. Now, this is where most of us make a mistake. We say, I want to make more money. I want to get a job in tech. And then we start here. Well, what do I have to do? Right? But it starts 5 levels higher. And that's what we're going to dig into right now. So first, we're going to get our hands dirty. So I want to go through the 3 most important questions that you need to ask yourself to start defining values and then eventually get to your OKRs. So I came upon this by a guy named Vishen Lakhiani has a company called Mind Valley. And it starts with beautiful life experiences. What beautiful life experiences do you want to have? Where do you want to travel? What type of friends do you want to have? Where do you want to live? How do you see yourself? How do you want to be better physically? And then after that, it's growth. So who is the person you need to grow into to have those beautiful life experiences? What skills do you need to acquire to have those things? And then lastly, if you can grow into the person that can have all of those beautiful life experiences, how will you then contribute and give back to others? So this is a framework. It's 3 simple questions, and we're going to do it now. So I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes. I got a stopwatch right here. 2 minutes is not enough time. You can either write this down, but all of us have smartphones, so you can do it on your phone. And we're going to treat this like a guided meditation. So I'm going to have some questions up here, and I'm going to be walking you through some questions. But the 2 minutes will force you to turn your logical brain off and speak from the heart and tell yourself what you really want. So either open up your phone or take a pen and paper out, and I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes. Ready, set, go. So we're going to go over growth right now. So who must you become to have all of the beautiful things you want, to make the money that you want to make, to have the job you want to have? Do you need to be well spoken? Do you need to do yoga and meditation and maybe be more present? Do you need to be more loving, more insightful? Maybe you need to go on Udemy and take a data analytics class or a data science class. How do you want to grow in terms of your health and fitness? Maybe you don't want to do CrossFit and go super hard in the paint. Maybe you just want to take daily walks, right? It's up to you. You're the master of your life. You're defining it. Maybe it's doing 50 push-ups. Maybe it's not running a 5K, but walking a 5K, right? Maybe it's doing yoga. How do you want to grow your intellectual life? Is it books? Is it going to museums? I know the Museum of the African Diaspora in San Francisco is a phenomenal museum. It's a BART away. Do you want to go to more talks like this, more conferences, take online courses? We got a minute left. What skills would you like to develop to live a rich life? Is it learning a new language? Maybe that's a coding language. Maybe that's Spanish. Maybe it's Portuguese, French. Maybe you want to take up an instrument. Maybe photography. Maybe martial arts. And how would you like to grow spiritually? Again, maybe yoga and meditation isn't your thing. Maybe you just want to go to church every Sunday and do that because you told yourself you would do it. Maybe it's a pilgrimage to a holy place, right? There's a spectrum, but like I said, you are enough. Don't define your goals with respect to what your parents want, what your spouse wants, what your friends want, right? This is your time. And time. So, congratulations. You are 2 minutes closer to the life of your dreams. So you can take that exercise and go home and do it this weekend, right? I think Thanksgiving is a perfect time to give thanks and then start thinking about these things. So I'm going to talk about some examples in my personal life. So where do I want to go? Again, objectives. What does my destination look like? Well, one of my missions and one thing I value is I'm athletic, I'm healthy, I'm intellectually curious. So my objective is I want to learn how to fight. I want to cook up an on-demand ass whipping if necessary. Now, I'm like Jackie Chan. Like, I don't want to go out picking fights, but if somebody tests me or myself, or I'm out with one of you and somebody gets rowdy and tries to put their hands on my loved one, like, I take pride in being able to defend myself, right? So my objective is aspirational. It's inspirational. It's my direction. That's the direction I want to go. And it's aligned with my values and the impact that I want to make. So okay, how do we get a little bit granular? How am I going to measure this? Well, I said I want to attend 12 jiu-jitsu classes. So I could have picked boxing, Krav Maga, karate, I could have picked anything, but I picked what I thought was best for me. So I hit this goal the past 90 days, and I'm not a black belt yet, but I'm pretty dangerous. So key results are ambitious. You should only pick a few of them. That's one of my key results for my health and fitness. And 70% equals success. Oftentimes we say we want to go to the gym and then we miss a day and we're like, oh, the hell with it. I'm not going to the gym anymore. So it's also time bound. I like to think 90 days out. So I hate that question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? It's great to think about those things, but tomorrow isn't promised. And 90 days, that's why P90X works. 90 days is enough time to get a result. Then we want to talk about initiatives. What will I do? So when I set this goal, I said I can go to a trial class and I can commit to a day. So initiatives and priorities are juicy. They take multiple steps oftentimes, and it's not a laundry list of to-do lists. From my beautiful life experiences, I said all my relationships flourish. So I want to be an inspirational and adventurous friend. So I want to be that friend that can turn up, that can go out, we can have a good time. You know what I mean? We can take some shots, we can dance, we can put bachata on, we can do whatever. But I also want to be that friend that's dishing out inspiration. That's gonna, like, I want to say something here today, and you're gonna be sitting around the Thanksgiving table like, damn, I probably need to set some OKRs for myself. Anthony really has something going there. So my key result for this area of my life is capture and be fully present for 14 adventures. And again, I define adventures. This is an adventure to me. Maybe having a coffee and having a deep conversation, that's an adventure to me. Our speaker next, Tashay, her and I went to the Toby concert the other day. That's an adventure to me. So, right, I'm counting these things. I'm being intentional about what I'm measuring. And then the last is growth. So I want to say I'm hella aligned. I'm disciplined, right? Because sometimes, especially being a person of color in a lot of these spaces, people gonna test you. You know, you feel me? And you gotta hit them with the petty Drake smile, but like deep down, you're like, yo, if you was on the street and you said that, like I have some few words for you. But I gotta be centered. And now I gotta bring it in. So how do I do this? Well, I try to, again, I defined it. 80% of the time, I try to wake up at 5:30. I take a cold shower. I meditate. I listen to some music. I do some push-ups, whatever I gotta do. And then what do I prioritize? What is the thing I can do tonight to make sure this happens? It's not about waking up earlier. It's about going to sleep earlier, right? It's about taking your clothes out. This is the boring stuff, but it helps me live my values and hit my OKRs. So this is what the process looks like. You got to define with those three most important questions: your beautiful life experiences, your growth, and then your contribution. And you got to ask yourself these things. Then you got to set, okay, what are my objectives? What are my directions that I'm trying to hit? And then lastly, what are my key results? That's going to be your GPS to know that you're getting there faster. And then lastly, your initiatives. What am I going to prioritize this week, this day, this month? So my call to action to you is this weekend, define one thing that you can prioritize to live in alignment with your values. So that 2-minute exercise you did, maybe you do that tonight. Maybe you do it this weekend. Maybe you take some time Sunday and wake up early and do this. But thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love how this audience looked. You could have been anywhere on a Friday night, but you're here with us. But this is me on social media. I'll talk to Nathan and make sure we share these slides so that you can contact me, but you can take a picture. You can follow up with me afterwards. And then also I have an online course where I teach these things. So I go into these things a little bit deeper, and then I talk to them within the lens of how do you find a job. And what I did for this particular talk is that I created a 50% discount so that if you want to buy this course and try it out, go into OKRs, deep dive into how to get a job, just tap into this, but you got to purchase it by Sunday. So I'm trying to give you a deadline. This is my key result in addition to sharing this with you. Questions?